Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel or welcome here if you are new. Today I'm doing a very chill, very casual video about basically what has been going on in my life, a little life update. I want to talk to you about some things that some of you have been asking me over on Instagram for the last few weeks, and other things just like little updates and little things that have come through my mind for the last few weeks, months, and that I wanted to share. So basically this is a video about me. We're gonna talk about me, which sounds a bit presumptuous and it doesn't exactly leave me comfortable, and so I grabbed the blanket because everything is better under a blanket. There's a few things that I want to get through, so let's get started. The first thing I want to mention is what is happening in my life in general, my job in particular, and all the things in between. As some of you already know, I work as a flight attendant on long-haul flights only. The shortest one we do is like 7 hours and the longest one we do is like 14. So I don't do European flights, I just do the long legs, usually across the Atlantic Ocean. And I've been doing that for a few years. But as some of you also know, since the coronavirus pandemic started, my job has been severely affected. So some of you have been messaging me on Instagram asking how my job is doing. I've mentioned it in the past in some other videos as well, little updates here and there, but I still receive lots of messages and sometimes comments here on the videos as well, asking how's it going, do I have any updates, and what is happening in general. So the last time I worked was in February this year. I haven't worked ever since, in my area at least. I haven't done any flights since February. I was put on furlough, which means I'm still employed, but I'm not flying. In other videos I've mentioned some changes that have happened with my airline, including a vlog where I did a little update, and it was basically me crying for 10 minutes, saying how my agency that contracted me broke their contract with the airline itself. So basically I was still employed by the agency, but I was no longer linked to the airline I've always worked for. However, what I've never mentioned here is that a couple of months ago, things took another turn, and this time finally they took a positive turn, which was the airline that I used to work for decided to buy the agency and all the people contracted by the agency. So basically now I'm still not flying, and I haven't done any flights since, but basically now instead of being employed by the agency, I'm employed by the airline directly, which is huge news. In aviation, it's not that frequent that those changes happened. I mentioned in the past that most airline employees are contracted by agencies, and it's very rare that an airline has their own staff, which is what my airline is doing at the moment. Now they have their own staff. So even though I'm still not flying and pretty much everything is still the same, if things are to go back to normal one day, it's better to be employed directly by the airline than by an agency. So that little change of events was actually a good thing. Now, ever since February, obviously, I've been through a lot. It's been a bunch of months. Being a flight attendant and especially being a cabin chief was my dream job. I've spoke about it lots of times in the comments, and I'm going to leave some links down below in the description if you want to go have a look at some other videos that I've done on that topic. But obviously it was hard on me, the feeling that I was losing my dream job, that it was just slowly flying away and that there was nothing I could do. So I had to work with myself, just allowed myself to feel all the feelings and cry whenever I had to cry, and I was basically mourning the loss of my dream job. So it's been a roller coaster of emotions, and I've just basically had to accept the things that I can change, which is that old saying, accept the things that you cannot change, but it's not as easy to do as it is to say. So it's been difficult for me mentally, and some days I'm just really exhausted and I just really miss my job. But, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. I cannot go and apply for other airlines, like some of you have been suggested that over messages and stuff, because basically no airline is recruiting. All the airlines are firing their own staff. So I just try and focus on the fact that I'm still grateful that not only I have a job, but also I'm employed by the airline directly. So I'm always trying to look at the bright side and just work with that, and just, you know, some days are worse than others, and that's okay, and I just allow myself to feel the things. And that's what's been happening regarding my job. I'm still not flying, and the prospects at the moment of going back to long-haul flight in my airline are March 2021. Will it happen? No one knows. Will I still be employed by then? No one knows. Basically, there's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers, but that's all I can share with you, is that the perspectives of me going back to work at the moment are end of March 2021. So as you can see, it's tough dealing with this. It's going to be more than a year without working in my area, without having my dream job. And I've just been trying and keep positive, keep positive attitude towards life in general and towards what is happening, and just trying to make lemonade out of the so sour lemons that life has been giving it. You know what? Screw the lemonade. Screw the lemonade. When life gives you such sour lemons and it's just crap after crap, just forget the lemonade. Just make a damn mojito. That's it. Make a damn mojito. Lemonade is not good enough, it's not happy enough to help us through these shitty times, so mojito it is. And from now on, I'm gonna change my motto of trying to make lemonade out of the sour lemons of life, and I'll be doing mojitos only. With all that being said, and with my dream job being in the shit, what are my plans for the future? Like I was saying, I've been working on creating my mojito of life. There are good things coming. And I don't mean this just in a figurative way, obviously that as well. But me and Josh have been working on something. There are good things coming our way, and hopefully I'll be able to share soon, but not yet. So stay put if you want to see what we've been working on, but exciting things are coming. We're doing our best, we're working through the bad times, and that's all we can do at the moment. And with these new exciting things happening and coming, how have I been feeling lately? I really miss traveling. I mean, it was not only my job, but also one of me and Josh's hobbies. We used to travel all the time. Sometimes we would spend just one random day away in a different country, just because we could. And now the world just seems so small and everything seems so distant, and I miss traveling. I miss being in hotels, I miss those buffet breakfasts, I just miss traveling. I miss seeing new places, and I miss feeling the heat from other places in the world. When it's cold here in the UK, I miss traveling so much. But one thing that I've been trying to do all these months, since February, since life as we knew it ended, I've been trying to focus on the way things can be because of what is happening and not despite what is happening. Because looking at the way things can be despite what happens has a certain negative connotation to it. It's more like a pity shame festival to ourselves. So I've been trying not to follow that mentality, and I've been trying to focus on the good things that are gonna happen in our lives because this happened. This really bad, shitty, horrible situation happened to all of us and for us. But certainly some good things are happening right now or will be happening that were not gonna be possible if it wasn't for this situation. So I'm trying to somehow still be grateful that this happens because it's gonna allow other things to come. However, even though all these months I've been trying to keep a very positive mindset and attitude, and yes, some other days I'm not able to and I feel down and want to spend the day in bed crying, that's okay. But in general, I've been trying to keep a positive attitude towards all this. However, it's not possible to always see the glass half full, Sometimes you just want to crack the glass against the wall and, So recently I ended up finding myself in a creative burnout, which I didn't even know it was a thing until someone mentioned about it, and I was like, oh my god, yes, that is it. That is exactly what I'm experiencing, a creative burnout. It was not a slow change in mindset, it literally happened from night to day. One day I woke up and I just lost all the motivation that I was somehow able to keep having all these months. I just lost it out of nowhere. One day I woke up and I was like, screw this all. I don't have more energy in me. I don't have more willingness to be positive. I've used it all. I've used it, every last drop of motivation that I had left. I've used it and now I'm empty. And basically what that made me feel was that I didn't want to do anything. And when I mean anything is that I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to record videos. I didn't want to edit the videos that I had already recorded in the past. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to clean the house. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to be left alone in my corner and exist. I just wanted to exist. Not have any ideas, not put my brain to work. I don't know how to explain. It was basically this very long state of permanent laziness for everything. I was just drained out of everything. And regarding my channel, it was not that I didn't have ideas like out of the sudden I woke up and I didn't know what to record or what to make videos about. It wasn't that. I still had those ideas. It was more like I would remember, oh, I could do a video about this, and then I'll be like, nah, maybe one day, but I don't want to do it now. I was just mentally exhausted from everything. So I decided to just once again allow myself to feel the things that I was feeling and not pressure myself into going back to normal, because I knew I would go back to normal eventually. Was it going to be 2 days or 2 weeks? I didn't know that, but I knew that eventually I would feel okay. So I decided, you know what, Manganet, just take your time. It's been a rough couple of months, so take your time to allow yourself to be back at your positive state of mind that I've always defended. So that's what I did. I gave myself time. I didn't pressure myself into reading. I left so many books halfway through, not because I wasn't enjoying them, but because I didn't want to read. I left vlogs halfway through, vlogs that I started recording, and then I was just like, nah, I don't feel like recording this vlog anymore. So I just left it unfinished until the day. I also didn't feel like watching YouTube. I just didn't want to connect to anyone. Like, I didn't stop talking to the people and I didn't isolate from Josh or anything, but I didn't want to see the outside world. I was just maybe in a depression kind of stage. I rather call it, like I said, creative burnout. I just didn't want to see anything creative and I didn't want to think about anything creative, and I just wanted to be left alone in my own corner. During this, I don't even know how long it took me to go back to normal. I'm still not sure if I'm 100% back on normal, but I definitely feel better. But during this time, during my creative burnout stage, one thing that I ended up doing, and apparently it was exactly what I needed for my life at that moment, was that I went back to watch the TV shows that I used to love, but for some reason, months ago, I just stopped watching them. So I went back to watch those and I binge watched. And when I say I binge watched, I mean in like 2 or 3 days, I watched the second half of season 3 and the entire season 4 of This Is Us. I cried my eyes out, I poured all my feelings out, and it was great. And it was exactly what I needed, to spend a few days on the sofa not doing anything except staring into the TV and crying my feels out. And during all this time, there was a few things that I've learned. The first one was that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to need time. It's okay to need to take a step back and reflect in your life. And it's okay just to allow yourself the luxury of feeling and the luxury of having no time limits. During all this time, I've been working at Dominos Pizza, making pizzas for the nation, like I say. And even though it's not a horrible job and it's just a part-time job in the afternoons and evenings, it's still so far away from my dream job. I don't even have words to describe it. But one day I was talking to my girls in our group chat, and Joanna pointed out something very wise to me and something that really reasoned inside me, which was, you are selling your soul to Domino's and you will feel better once you stop doing that. And so I quit Domino's. In total, I worked at Domino's for 2 months. Now, it might not seem a lot of time for some, and for some others it might seem like an eternity. I'm still not sure in which point I stand. I feel like 2 months was just the time that I needed to learn more about myself and about life in general as well, and any more than that would actually start ruining me. Emotionally, I mean. So first things first, why the heck did I join Domino's? And I joined Domino's in the beginning of July after being home since beginning of March. So I was at home for 4 whole months and it was great. I wasn't bored, I wasn't tired of it. And during that time, I actually learned that I could do that for years probably, because I absolutely loved and I felt like I was living my best life. And that was the best I felt in so long. Even while I was still flying, those 4 months were the best that I felt, because I felt like I had time to do all the things that I enjoyed, except traveling, but that's a different story. But I had time to read, I had time to focus on my channel, to edit, to engage with my friends. Me and Philippe organized Manga Mania and like all the things. It was just so great. Those 4 months, they were amazing. And after those 4 months, I started realizing that in order to have that luxury of being at home, not doing anything, I was not saving any money. I still had money to pay all the things that I needed to pay. I still had money for the rent, for the bills, groceries, getting takeout dinners every now and then. I still had all the money that I needed. I never struggled to not have money for things. So technically I could have done that for much longer, because the reduced salary that I was receiving was still enough for my lifestyle. The thing is, I've always been a big defender that it's important to every month put some money on the side for the 2 big events of life. And for me, the 2 big events of life are emergencies and vacations. That is a rule that I always found very, very important, is that every month, regardless what happens and regardless how much you are able to save, you need to save something. And during those 4 months of staying at home, living my best life, yes, I was able to pay everything, and yes, I never struggled with money, and I know some people don't have that luxury, so I'm very fortunate that I was able to stay at home, not working, and still be okay. But I wasn't able to put anything towards savings. I wasn't using my savings either, again, a luxury, but I was not adding anything to my savings. And after 4 months, I started realizing how much money I had lost from not putting anything into savings. Life doesn't revolve about money, at least not for me, and that's why I allowed myself not to save for 4 months. But then I felt, you know what, let's make a change, let's try something new. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be without a job, and chances are that one day I'm actually going to need my emergency money if I actually lose my job. So let's give up a little bit on my dream life of being at home, not doing anything and just enjoying all my hobbies. And let's buckle up a bit more money into my savings just in case it's necessary. And if not, at the end of this, I get a fucking great vacation with all that money. And so I started looking for a job. However, due to the location of where we live, it wasn't easy looking for a job because the furlough scheme had been going on for so long, and because we live so close to the airport that so many hundreds of people who live around here used to work at the airport, and now all those hundreds of people were looking for jobs, except some of them had already been looking before me. So I was late for the party, even in these things. Until eventually I went to Dominos and they gave me a job, and that's how I got a job at Dominos, because literally it was the only job I could get. And how was it to work at Dominos? Well, in the beginning, maybe the first 2 weeks, I absolutely hated it. I felt like I deserved so much better to my life than that. I absolutely hated it. I was so sad that I had to submit myself to that kind of work. But then I decided to, just grow up. Life is not always easy, and you've had it so easy so far. So maybe it's time that you actually see the real struggles of life. So I decided to push through and keep working in there, and after a while, it was okay. I never loved it. I was never happy to go to work, but after a while it was okay. I guess I just settled to it, and I just blocked it at the back of my mind what I was actually doing and how different my life looked now to what it looked like in the beginning of the year, and I tried not to think about it. And I did what I had to do, and I got some money. And that was the main point, was to get some extra money, to be able to put some damn money into savings. And I was able to. But then I started feeling miserable. And I don't know what was the point it changed. I don't know what made it change. But out of nowhere, I just started feeling miserable every time I had to go to work. I felt like a kid on the first day of school, screaming, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to go to work. And I kept going and I kept pushing, but I was just so sad all the time. Like I would cry almost every day at the end of the night. Like I would come home and cry. And sometimes I was in the store and I just wanted to cry. And I was just so incredibly sad all the time from having to do that job. And I kept thinking, you deserve more than this, you are better than this. But at the same time, I was still trying not to be a little princess. So I kept also telling myself, it's okay, it's just a period in your life. You're not defined by your job. You're not defined by the things that happen to you. You are defined by the way you're dealing with them, and you're doing a great job. You're dealing with them, you're doing it, just keep doing it. So I kept going to work every day and working all those hours until eventually I got my first full month paycheck. And that was when I broke. This gets me a bit emotional, but when I saw how much I had worked, how many hours I had worked in Dominos for a full month, because my first paycheck, I wasn't there the entire month. So I got some money, not brilliant, but I was like, whatever, it wasn't a full month. But on the second month, I got an entire month worth of payment. And when I saw how many hours I had worked, because it comes on the payslip, was exactly the same amount of hours that I worked on maximum in the airline. And the payment difference was so humongously big that it just broke me, and I wasn't expecting the difference to be that big. Obviously it makes sense because it's paid by hour and the hourly rate is just so much smaller, but the difference of the money, and again, I'm a big defender that life doesn't revolve around money and money is not everything, but in this case I was getting this job for the money, so let's keep that in mind. This money that I got from Domino's in that month, that 1 month of working as much as I could possibly work in the airline, even though I never worked that much in the airline, the payment difference was 1/3. I got 1/3 of what I would get in the airline. And so it broke me, because I was trying not to be a princess, and I was trying to do what needed to be done, and I was trying to find the damn mojito of life. And the only reason why I had this job was for the money, so I could save money. And yes, I was still able to save that money that I got from it, but that little amount of money wasn't enough me feeling how I was feeling. And so that's why I left, because I had that job to save money, and yes, I was saving money, but it was just not worth it the way I was feeling. Like I said, I was feeling miserable every time I had to go to work, and I was willing to push through and telling myself to do it, and I was doing it because it was for the better good, you know what I mean? But then it just came crashing down when I realized didn't even got close to aligned with what I would consider worth it. I'm also a big defender that you should work to live and not live to work. And so I resigned Dominos. And yes, some money is better than no money, but you also shouldn't feel miserable every time you go to work. So when I first joined Dominos, was I thinking on only working there for 2 months? No. I mean, I wanted to, but I was thinking I was just gonna push through it and keep pushing through it until my job was back. And I was gonna do it until my job was back. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't hang in there for more than 2 months. But it's okay, because like I said a few minutes ago, good things are coming between me and Josh. We're working on something. I'm excited for those good things to come, and everything is good. At the end of the day, I still have money for my bills, and that's what matters. Life is difficult, and sometimes you have to make decisions, and in this case, I decided to drop those extra pounds to regain some of my mental health. Can you just stop crying? I hate videos on YouTube of people crying. And this is the second video crying that I'm making. Alright, so now that you know that I'm no longer making pizzas for donation by the time you see this video, I wanted to talk to you about what comes next. What's in the future of this channel? One thing that you guys ask me all the time is, will I ever go back to making videos in Portuguese? Because in case you don't know, I used to make videos in Portuguese for like 3 years, I think I had this channel. I think I have the channel for 4 or almost 4. So for 2.5 years I made videos in Portuguese, and then was it September? Has it been a year? I think it's been roughly a year already. I changed it and I started making videos in English. And in the beginning I said I was just trying out to see how it felt. And I have a whole video explaining. I'm gonna leave it linked here in case you wanna check out. But lots of people have been asking me, will I ever go back to making videos in Portuguese? And at the moment, the answer is no. I was doing the English videos as a trial to see how it felt. And I feel good doing videos in English. And as much as it pains me to say, I do think better in English than in Portuguese nowadays. I mean, I've been living outside of Portugal for so long. My Portuguese is not even that good anymore. I struggle with finding words. So yes, I'm gonna keep doing videos in English because it's what makes sense for me at the moment, and because my entire life is in English and it's easy for me to reason in English than it is in Portuguese, as painful as that is. Now, despite the tears that I cried 2 minutes ago, I also want this channel to be a place full of positivity and to be just that place that you go when you need to be in a good mood or you need a good laugh. I want you to feel like, oh, Manganet just uploaded a video, I'm gonna watch it and it's gonna brighten my day somehow. I want to keep making silly videos and just the most random stuff that you just watch the video and you're like, what the heck? And you're laughing at me being an idiot. And that's what I want. I want to have a permanent good mood in this channel. Also, I want my channel to keep growing. Now, at the moment, I've reached the 900 subscribers, which is amazing. And that was my goal for the year 2020 for my channel, was to reach 900 subscribers by the end of December. And I've done it. I'm here. It's incredible thinking that I know that not 900 people watch my videos, but 900 people pressed that button saying subscribe. And that, wow, it's amazing. So I want my channel to keep growing. However, this channel is never gonna be a huge channel. And lots of you have commented on how my channel has grown so slowly, because like I said, it's been almost 4 years and here I am still at 900. It's grown very, very slowly. And in the beginning, I believe it was because it was videos in Portuguese, which is obviously a very small community. And recently, even though I speak in English and everyone can watch my videos, I think the reason for that is just the fact that I don't have a niche. I just speak about everything on my channel. There's videos about books, there's videos about movies. Is there videos about movies? I don't know why I said that. There's videos about cleaning the house. There's experiments that I did, like following new habits for 30 days or whatever I did. There's just so much random content that it's difficult to get the people to press the subscribe button. Everyone knows that about YouTube. If you want to grow on YouTube, you need to have a niche. And I don't have a niche. And I'm okay with that because I want this channel to be a reflection of the person that I am. And the person that I am is just this completely random person that likes so many different things and has so much excitement about so many different things that I want to share them all. Because I know if I narrowed my channel down to something, for the beginning it would be alright and I would have fun doing lots of videos about that specific topic, but then one day I would wake up and I would want to share about, I don't know, what Suki ate for breakfast, and I couldn't because it wouldn't fit my channel. So I'm not narrowing down. My channel is gonna keep being exactly what it has been until now. Everything at the same time and nothing all at once. It's just random, and whenever I publish the video, you will never know what you're getting until you watch the video. And basically, that's what I want to do with this channel. There you go, guys. I think this video is long enough. I think you got a feeling on what's going on with my life. I touched all the topics that I wanted to, and I discussed all the little elements of the last few months with you guys. I told you how I'm feeling. I've cried for you, all the things. And so I hope you got a good understanding on my life and what is happening in the future. And like I said, good things are coming. So if you are going through a bad period of your life, just tell yourself it's a bad day, it's not a bad life, and keep going and keep pushing through whatever you're going through, and the way out is through. And with this, I'll see you on my next video. Bye.